Hello, everyone. My name is Asal Shokati, Ayurvedic practitioner, healing artist, and educator in Houston, Texas. I'm joining you again yet for another wonderful video with a fellow practitioner, Danielle Berger. And I will get into the introduction here in a short bit. But just to let you know, this series of interviews, it is for the community of holistic professionals, students, enthusiasts, anybody who is interested in learning more, whether they're expanding their practice by learning different modalities and knowing about different practices other practitioners do, or they simply want to make a change in their personal life and their personal journey to health the holistic way. I'm also working on launching a really fascinating project that is again for the community under the name of Expansion Academy for the holistic professionals. You will hear more about it soon, but without further ado, I wanted to just give you a very, very quick introduction to Danielle, but she will do a much better job of telling you who she is, where she's come from, and what she does. So in a nutshell, according to her, she's a movement educator, a mindset amplifier, and self-love advocate, on top of being an entrepreneur. So Danielle and I, we met through a fantastic group, Love Leaders of Elena Herdikerkov, and we worked together for almost 2 years during 2020 and 2021 to amplify our personal practices, and we created a very strong bond, and I'm very honored to have her here. So welcome, Danielle, and thank you so much for joining us on this channel and for sharing your beautiful, wonderful, and proven message of self-love, movement, and so on. And I forgot to say that your main medium of practice is Pilates. So
No problem. No problem. Thank you so much, Asal, for your invitation to join you tonight. I'm so excited to be here and share this beautiful space with you and your community.
Thank you very much for just being so open to having this time with me and with us, the audience.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Tell us more in your own language, even though I stole your own language to give a little introduction. What brought you here, where you are, and what is it that you're putting your entrepreneurial and practical focus on these days?
Excellent question. So just for our audience and our community to know, it was never complete clarity from the start. I actually first started my journey as a mechanical engineer. So I have a scientific mind. I love to explore and ask questions and be curious about how things work. And it happened about the time when I first, when I started my family, and I went on my baby break, and I was just transitioning into motherhood. And that was a huge turnaround in my life. And it was exhausting. I felt depleted. Energy was not running on high. But I had discovered that despite the challenges of motherhood, moving my body, despite how tired and exhausted I was a gift to myself. It was almost like a pick-me-up. I don't want to say a drug, but it almost had the effects of a drug, because even though I was tired and I thought, oh my God, should I not go? Should I go and move my body? Oh, I'm so tired. I found and discovered that when I did go and moved my body and did something for myself, I just felt almost reborn. I just discovered firsthand that even when you think you can't, when you try, you realize you can. And your body almost, it creates new sources of energy that I never thought were possible. So in that period of time, I was so fascinated by this effect. And so inspired, I began then my journey into the health and fitness arena. And I explored and studied various movement modalities. And one of those movement modalities that fascinated me even more beyond end was Pilates, and still does fascinate me today. So I am specialized in Pilates, also with the classical Pilates equipment of Joseph Pilates, but I also love functional mobility, functional movement patterns, the way we were designed to move. I mean, I'm coming from a biomechanical background, and I perceive the human body as this biomechanical chemical machine today, and I'm just always fascinated and in awe about the human body's capability to adapt to stimuli, to heal, and to evolve. So that's where I am today, and I'm very passionate about what I do. I love the human body in every which way.
Oh my God, it's incredible. I'm just fascinated. My mouth is like staying open in awe that you have had that, you have that mechanical engineering background, and like the outer journey, or the journey from the mind transferred into the body. It's like, I don't come across people like you that, as if a part of you already knew your path. It's just like it mistranslated into, or not, at the time being, it needed to be that, but it's like on the outside, and then you just slowly brought it back the inside. It's just
That's
amazing.
Right.
It's amazing.
That's right. And yes, and I think what I learned as well is in that process, like just by going through those motions, was being able to ask yourself, what do I need? What do I need most right now? And that became quite significant, and even is a question I like to ask often today. Even at this point of my movement journey, I've been teaching now for movement for 16 years. Even now, it's a very impactful question. What do I need right now? And you'll often find, I mean, I don't want to predict how it is for everyone, but it's often an entry to return to the within. What is going on inside here? Yeah. What do I need to attend to here? And that return to the body, listening in, moving, focusing on your breath, directing where your attention goes, is just incredible.
So you and I, we have certain similarities. Without
Yes.
getting into details, our minds work a certain way, and it can create some anxieties or this and that. And how would you, because it's been a personal journey for me, going inside while you feel all the tension and anxiety. How do you do that? I mean, you kind of gave the answer, like you move no matter what, because it's like a lifesaver. But how would you find those answers despite all the tension you may feel on the way of going inside to find those answers? How would you make that connection? How have you conditioned your mind to kind of go through or bypass or whatever it needs to?
Indeed, absolutely. I do believe that our habits of action are driven by our habits of thought. But depending on where we are with our mindset and the beliefs we choose to have, can make the difference into how we're feeling. But I guess for our audience today, probably the most accessible thing I can share with you and our community in terms of how to get into the body, I would say, is via the breath. Number one, first and foremost, the breath, because depending on what you want to achieve, if you are in a state of, let's say, kind of relative steady base, and you do desire to have some kind of a lift up or an increase in your heart rate variability, you would want to increase your inhalation, because the diaphragm will descend, the lungs will expand, and your heart rate will need to pump faster. The contrary is also the true if you need to reach a state of calm, because you're like, maybe you're anxious, you're nervous, you're like, you're just triggered. You need to breathe slower and have a longer exhalation. which will trigger your parasympathetic nervous system. But I don't want to get too anatomical right now. Our audience need to know, well, how can I get into my body? So take your attention to your breath. Most of the time, if you're talking about anxiety and stress and sort of like heart rate is working at an increased rate, it's most of the time we need to reach a state of calm, rest, digest. And we can do that first and foremost.
Calm, rest, digest.
And digest. Yes. I was just describing that.
How did you get to that?
Well, I think everybody already kind of knows it, even if they can't verbally articulate it. Like, for example, I'm sure everybody could relate to a situation at school when maybe it's recess time or it's your sports day and there are races on and you have to run fast. And let's say it's a race, it's a competition, you have to run really fast. At the end of the race, if you're really done and over, you have to catch yourself and just, like you might even just literally put your hands on your thighs, take a rounded position of your back and just few more deep breaths, but you take that sort of like calming, bringing your body forward, coming into a state of flexion, this forwards inclination of the body. You do that naturally, even without knowing it, that you are trying to calm your system down. So it's not unlike,
you're going towards the ground, you're getting grounded. Like you
exactly. Beautiful, Asal. I love that. Yes. And I think everybody has experienced that your body does that automatically. Like when you've been elevated and your body is in a state of stress, it's been stimulated. It's running is also like a state of like full activation, sympathetic nervous system. And then suddenly, oh, it's over, the race is over. And like, oh, you calm down. You can even watch the Olympic runners doing that. Yeah. And in the instant, they're just like all out there for joy. Yeah. Power position. Oh my God, I won. And then, then they're completely the opposite.
Sounds like the body knows it and the mind catches
your body knows
later.
That's the whole point. Your body already knows it. And we just maximize that in our movement modalities, you with yoga, Asal, and myself with Pilates. We're just doing exactly the same thing, but not as impactful and not as strenuous, but we're still reaching that state of calm, centeredness, and groundedness.
Well, you explained really well, and thank you. It's like while listening to you, like, doors start opening. Wow, okay, calm, rest, and digest. And incredible is when I teach, I like to teach these subjects of sleep, rest, digestion, elimination, and so forth, under the title of the four pillars of health, according to Ayurveda. Like if one is missing or loose, it affects the other three, and it kind of like, then you're not in the state of your optimal health. And just like that, digestion is not just for the food, it is for the cells, it is for the entire body, it's for the mind, it's for the whole thing to come together. And hey, when you don't rest, the digestion doesn't have enough energy to do its job, basically.
Beautifully said. That is so true. I mean, it's a whole system, so it demands and deserves a holistic approach. There are so many systems that are of our body that are interrelated and interconnected and all working together to support each other. It makes the only sense to have a holistic strategy when you're dealing with whole body health.
Yeah, it sounds like we know we may speak different languages, different practitioners, but the truth is just the same. It's like different ways of reaching it, different doors. We're opening different doors and coming from different directions, reaching the same thing. But not everybody would understand what I say, and not everybody would understand what you say. That's why I like to do these interviews. Like, there are so many different beautiful ways of reaching that holistic truth, and that you see with your body and mind and your spirit, that we don't have to all follow the same path, but we have to like be on the lookout to hear like who our comrades are. I mean,
exactly, yeah.
Join forces, or tap into their experience or whatnot. So when we're doing this recording, And when we're planning to publish it, it's going to be sometime around Valentine's, Galentine's, whatever you want to call it. And not having planned it mentally, it just, we agreed upon something many months ago. It ended up being around now. And you're a self-love advocate. What better time than this time of the year that love floats in the air through media and, like, you know, it's on the tip of everybody's tongues to just I don't know, show ourselves some love. What does that mean to you, Danielle? What does self-love mean to you? Because it can have different definitions to different people.
Absolutely. That being said, it can also have a different meaning to different people. I like to consider self-love about a way of accepting yourself, all the parts of you that make up your entire unique being. So self-love, yes, it can manifest in the form of self-care, and that is also lovely. And we do want to attend to our bodies and look after them. But I think self-love is also about that, giving yourself grace, showing yourself compassion, being kind to yourself, speaking to yourself as if you were your own best friend, because we all have an inner critic.
Oh.
And I think the worst critic of all is the one that sits inside our minds. And if I can relate it back to my clients and make it even more understandable, I have heard so many of my clients almost speak in a harsh, criticizing tone with themselves, which on the one hand shocks me, but on the other hand shows me that, oh my gosh, we need to show ourselves some more love, some more compassion, some more kindness. And why this harsh tone? Why this demanding expectations of ourselves that we should be this or that or more than we currently even are? And I think, no, we are enough the way we are, and we are allowed to be who we are here to be. And that's what I like to associate with this self-love. It's that willingness or preparedness to accept all of you, and that all of you is absolutely enough. By saying that, I'm absolutely an advocate of personal evolution, further growth, personal development. I love all of that. I just love that because I do believe we are here to evolve. However, and that for the benefit of becoming an ongoing evolved version of yourself. That is absolutely beautiful. But I think even in that process, showing ourselves kindness and compassion along the way is absolutely key. Why? Because we want to feel love. We are here to experience love. And it's all about love and connection. And I think before you can love anyone else, it comes from really, really loving yourself.
It's also very interesting when we commit to love ourselves. It's as if we're designed, we really need to shed and let go of some maybe denser sides of ourselves, like mentalities. Some may call it the cultural programming or this and that. And the more committed you become, the more these sides want to cling on, attaching to the mind. And I believe that's when you really truly need self-love, because that trial period is not easy to go.
Absolutely.
To get tested.
We do. And I'm so glad you mentioned that, Asal, because we are absolutely very deeply, culturally, traditionally, religiously, socially, societally conditioned. And that has determined so much of our behavior today. Behavior that dictates our beliefs, or the other way around. What beliefs did you grow up with that have manifested in your life today? What of those beliefs are actually holding you back? What of those beliefs are actually stopping you from growing further? And for people who come from unhappy circumstances, or even experience trauma or painful childhood periods, or just unhappy circumstances, it's extremely challenging to find that self-love. And of course, there is then a time and a place for therapeutic intervention. And there are a whole host of modalities and means of therapy. And I'm absolutely an advocate for that too, especially as far as mental health goes. But when we feel challenged, or when we feel, oh my God, I don't look as beautiful as that girl in social media, even though I like her, I follow her, I like what she does, but you kind of still feel triggered because maybe you're not as beautiful as her or as fit as her. I like to ask myself, well, is it true? Is it true that you are not as beautiful as her? And who says that you are not as beautiful as her? Who gets to decide whether you're beautiful or not? And at the end of the day, it's you. It's you that gets to decide what you believe. And that's where the power of self-love comes in, because if you really challenge yourself on your beliefs, well, is that really true? I find that opens up a door to a complete new discovery of who you get to be. It's almost like releasing, a shedding of all the armor and all that. I'm not saying all that conditioning, because it's very hard to shed all of that.
Some of those,
yeah. But the more we release that is not relevant, not applicable, not your truth, the more you get to become your authentic self, giving you permission to be your authentic self. And that, to me, is also a step towards self-love.
Since you're a love leader, you gotta be a peaceful warrior too, to have that courage to love yourself. It takes courage to love.
It absolutely takes courage, because it also means going against the grain, or not going with the flow or the pull, or where everyone else, or where it seems everyone else is going. Of course, everyone is on their own journey, but it seems like, gosh, I kind of got to, there's so much pressure out there. There's so much stimulation. There's so many mixed messages out there. It's tough. It's really tough. I think a lot of us live in a highly overstimulated society. But that's another story.
You give up, it's pretty interesting. You give this vibe of beauty, and this beauty physically, you're a very beautiful person with the way you dress and the way you carry yourself and your mannerisms and everything, but it is really an inner beauty that kind of like re-emphasizes the outer beauty as well. And perhaps this is something you can't just find on social media. It's just like getting to know somebody like you versus like some others that I may or may not know. It's like the vibe speaks, and the more people are in tune with themselves, in love with themselves, the more they see the real true beauty in somebody else too. I believe that's a very fascinating thing. You did mention a great point I want to re-emphasize. The way I understood is self-love and acceptance is not the same as being stagnant and just being a punching bag. No, evolution.
Evolution, yes, that is key.
Is responding to that seed of evolution. Now, there may be some souls among us, and I'm sure in the spiritual circles there are, that their journey is to go back. Some may be expanding and evolving, but for most who are on the path to evolution, it is important to keep that in mind. That's why I personally couldn't make sense or connect with the word surrender. Like, surrender. No, I don't want to surrender. I don't want to be a slave to this and that. But I was getting the meaning wrong for the longest time. It was like accepting, because with acceptance, you understand the shadows, but then you also understand the shadow has a gift side, and there's an exaltation to it. And it's just like we're in constant flow with life, and we can let go and evolve. Eventually all that is available to us. So
true. Yes.
Your a love leader. I've said it many, many times, and I've seen it coming through getting to know you a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey. You went from an actual physical, larger space in Switzerland to responding to this inner knack or whatever it was for you to develop the online program that you have. And I know it wasn't quite an easy journey making the decision and moving on. And sometimes life supported you in a forceful way. And sometimes, you pulled the trigger, but you've moved from one business model to another. Tell us about what you're doing right now and how you ended up understanding that that is your calling at the moment. And then you need to move on from what you were doing in the past.
Absolutely. So you are correct. I was running a brick and mortar Pilates boutique studio in Zurich, and I've done so for over 8 years. And even before we experienced the first outbreak of COVID, before that, I was already beginning to listen in to myself, because I could feel in my body, in my mind, just impression. It comes as like a feeling, I think, in your gut, that it's not about something not being right. You just kind of feel like, I don't know, maybe it's some kind of an itch, or maybe there's just kind of this sense of knowing that it's time for a new chapter, even though you don't even really know what that chapter is, or whether you really are able to turn the page just yet. So essentially, COVID kind of did accelerate that process. And what I want to say, to cut a longer story short, is it catapulted me into the online space a lot faster than I could ever imagine. And I guess I felt that what I had been doing in my studio for quite some time, it wasn't possible to bring that into the online space. And boy, was I wrong. So yes, I began to do everything I essentially do in my studio, minus the big equipment, because people don't have necessarily all the fancy equipment at home, but essentially just a mat and your body. Nothing much else.
Body _props _Pilates, which is your Instagram handle.
That's right. Body, props, Pilates. What else do you need? Not much else. Yes, and just essentially started to create material in a digital format. So filming movement sequences, all sorts of sequences for different focus themes of the body, whether it's more stretch, whether it's more relaxation, whether it's more power and dynamic, just a whole host of themes, and just putting them in an accessible format for people to follow through in a course format, as if they were to learn Pilates, as if they would learn it coming to my studio, starting with foundational basis, building the fundamentals, and moving progressively towards more and more movement and body autonomy. So yeah, essentially what I would do in my studio, I just began to put it on film and then bring it into a digital form, so I could take that out into the world and make that accessible to so many more.
It sounds difficult. You had access to a space, working one-on-one, props, machines, this and that, to like not getting like a feedback from a live audience, reading somebody's body, not using any props like, you used to. And then like, basically, wow, that takes a lot of courage and understanding and going within too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just for our audience to understand, having a sequence of movement to follow visually, sort of on your screen or on your laptop or iPad, is fine. The way I like to deliver it in real life is to also have a coaching element that supports the application of that material that you receive, you have access to. You can download it, watch it, do it at your time, at your pace. However, ideally, you would be also be coached by me at certain periods of time along your movement journey.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So
Because
you also, yeah,
it is not just the physical body. A
yes,
lot
there
of,
is a mind.
yeah, a lot of times something gets loosened in your mind, and all of a sudden you're doing the movement completely different. You're so in tune with it.
Yeah.
I also like how when you post, you were for a while creating a lot of videos and sequences, but what I loved was reading the relatively shorter captions, but very, very deep and embodying like the whole experience in a different way. So that is that element of coaching I get that you are applying to those videos as well. I assume your online courses are an expanded, glorified version of what you've done.
Yes, it is more expansive, and it's more immersive, and you really go on a deep dive. But that's fine. That's great, because body adaptation, any kind of body transformation, whether it's internal or external, takes time.
Yeah. Yes, it does. And then who would typically join these classes? Who are your typical clients who this philosophy and this system works for?
I would say anyone who desires to make their well-being a priority, quite simply. Anyone who is willing to say, wow, I do a lot, I achieve a lot, I help others a lot, but I also have needs. And I want to start taking better care of myself, because it's important to me to be available, present to the people around me that matter. So I know a lot of women struggle with, I don't want to limit this to women, of course. My course does have the title Love Yourself with Pilates, and that has a whole lot more meaning to it than what you might first anticipate. But I know that a lot of women struggle with taking time for themselves before the family, before their career, before their jobs, and like they're kind of at the bottom of their to-do list or attendance list. And I don't want to generalize. Generalizations are always cruel to some people, but as a tendency, women are so great at giving and looking out for others, men too, particularly women, because they tend to still be in many societies the prime caregivers and child rearers. And I know that's changing, but still taking time. But they're so good at giving and giving so much of themselves that it can even cost them their health. So much so to the point that one day they kind of say, no more. I'm going to take my health in my hands, because it matters to me how I feel. I want to feel energized. I want to feel vibrant. I want to feel feminine, divine, delicious. I want to feel sexy in my own skin for me, because it matters to me how I feel, whatever it is. But I think so many women desire to feel good, because feeling good, I think we all want to feel good. Of course, life is not all about feeling good. There is the pain. We have pleasure, we have pain. They're both on pleasure and pain share that same neural path in our brain. So it's always a fine balance. What I'm trying to say is there's nothing wrong with having pain. We all need to, we all do experience it, because that's just all part of life. But if we have the opportunity to also have pleasure, and pleasure within ourselves, and pleasure with our bodies, then yes, enjoy your body. Enjoy feeling good in your body. And that's my message also today with movement. Exercising, to me, okay, sure, you can exercise in a certain way, train with resistance to create an amazing physique if you want it. If you want to partner that up with certain nutritional strategies and what have you, you can really change your physique. But you know what, Asal, exercising for me is so much more than just how it's going to make me look. It's about how it makes me feel. And that's what I want to empower to our audience, to our community today, that moving your body should be all about how it makes you feel.
I'm getting goosebumps.
Oh, because you won't forget how that makes you feel. I think everyone can relate to a time. Hey, do you remember when you were with someone and this person they just saw you, they understood you, they just got you, and they didn't have to say much, but what they did say just made you feel so loved. So, wow, just, you never forget that feeling. Feelings are just so powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. You did explain two sides. Well, we live in a duality. In this reality, we deal with dualities all the time. Just like, even like the pain and pleasure neural pathways being, pretty much the same. The feminine side, the feminine aspect, whether it's in a man or a woman, of giving over giving and all that, needs to be balanced for
Yes.
other aspects of the same quality. The feminine will come out through beauty and nurture and care, and like we're part of that lot too. We give a lot,
Yes.
but we're part of that as well. And
Yes.
especially a lot of holistic professionals have high EQ, highly empathic. It can have several causes. It can come from even trauma in childhood or whatnot. The reason is not important. It is that the quality is very much defined in them, but there are no boundaries. So self gets forgotten, the body gets forgotten, especially on the spiritual path. I've mentioned this time and again. This is the portal to go through. You mentioned the breath. We had another practitioner here that I've interviewed him. It's all breath work, the breath, the body. This is the main portal. Everything else is unknown to us. This is going in. This is the safest pathway to spirituality, I believe. And there are great teachers out there, just like you. Their messages: move your body, even if it's just a minute a day. I think Dan Millman has said it: to save your life. I've had people tell me, exercise for your soul.
Yes.
And that is very similar to what you're saying in your message. It's just quite powerful. And you know what? The body morphs in the way it needs to on its own when these open up. I want to bring up a topic that it may not be as important these days, but at some point for a lot of women, it was cellulites. And at some point I was researching many years ago how to, what? I found a lady. I remember I paid $50 for a program I read. I'm like, what? It was, okay, don't cross your legs like this and do this exercise, which I realized it was just sound salutation. And basically getting your body moving, and it moves your energy systems too. And then when energy is not in stagnation, the body metabolizes whatever it needs to, where it needs to. And thus, like, just living in harmony with yourself takes care of a lot. But you can put a lot of emphasis and money on locally treating something that may or may not work. It would always come back when the root cause is there. But
yes.
I feel like self-love takes care of a lot of health issues, mental and physical, emotional at least, and energetic. So, well, we're gonna continue our chat, but you have promised us to show us a sequence based on your philosophy, and we're gonna do a little reorganization and have Danielle show you some moves so you can try on your own and experience the philosophy of what and how she teaches.
Thank you. Hello and welcome back to this short movement sequence. I am so delighted to have you move along with me. So you just need enough space for your entire body and preferably something soft beneath you. So I have a soft carpet here, so that's all I'm going to be using. But if you have a mat, a yoga mat, or any kind of fitness mat at home, go and use it. If you have no carpet and no mat, grab a beach towel. That will do the job fine. And we are going to kick off with a movement experience, and I invite you simply to explore. Of course, if there's anything that doesn't feel right for you, please just leave it aside, or I'll be offering various modifications as we go along. But it's important that you listen to your body. And I do mean that as you go along, because it's communicating with you all the time. Yeah. So if something doesn't feel right, please, for today, just leave it aside. And apart from that, I want to give you permission to have fun. Just have fun with me. And we're going to kick off right now, first with a very simple breathing drill. And I'm going to then lead you fluidly through a handful of further movements. So you're going to come onto your seat. Just have your knees bent, and your hands will be just behind your thighs. I'd love you to sit up nice and tall on your sits bones. Take a nice deep breath in. As you exhale, you're going to rock back. Stay here. Now I want you to breathe into your back ribs. Now lift your waist and come forward. Great. Inhale to get nice and tall. Exhale, rock your pelvis back. Now you're going to pull that belly in. Exhaling all the air. Stay here. Breathe into your back. That's work. Now exhale, lift your waist, rock forward, emptying your lungs. One more time. Inhale up, nice and tall. Exhale, rock back. The belly holds on tight. Inhale again. And exhale, lift your body all the way over. Great. Now, all I want you to do is get nice and tall one more time. Exhale, pull your pelvis back. You're going to melt your entire body piece by piece all the way down onto the floor. We're going to start with a more vigorous breathing pattern. Take one leg after the next in towards your chest. Lift your head, neck, and shoulders. Palms facing down, fingertips reaching long if you'd like to. Elongate your legs to the sky, and let's pump the arms vigorously along the sides. You're going to breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe in and out. In for 5 counts, out for 5 counts. If you would like more challenge, simply lower your legs. Keep pulling that low belly in and own the position of your back on the mat. Keep pumping. Breathe in for 5. Breathe out. That's it. Keep going. In and out. We're almost there. Keep pumping. Pull that low belly in and up. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5. And up. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Hold it. Hold. Great. Give your legs a hug and rest your neck for a moment. Great job. So just holding onto your legs, lift your head, lift your booty, and rock into seated. This is going to be fun. You're going to pick up your feet, holding onto your shins, or if you wish, holding onto the backs of your thighs. Now I'd love you to lift your chest, elongate your sides, but pull that low belly in, freeze your form, and if you dare to with me, we are going to rock back and rock forward and balance. Rock back, rock forward, hold. Rock back, rock forward, just like a ball. Inhale, exhale, hold. Inhale, rock. Exhale, hold. Great job. Let's do 3 more. Back and forward. Can you hold it? In and out. One last time. Balance, balance, balance. Feet are still off the ground. Great job. Just stay where you are. We're still balancing here in space. And you're going to bring 2 hands to one leg. And you're going to elongate the opposite leg. Let's switch. Hold. Switch. Hold. Switch. Hold. So you can see we're pulling one leg in towards the belly. Lift the chest. and switch. It's almost like a bow and arrow with your legs, yeah? Pulling in and in and in. That's it. Keep working that low belly, in and up. Lifting your chest, the side body, nice and long. Great. Let's do 2 more here. And last one. Great job. Bring everything to your center. Do you remember this position? Wear that bowl again. So lift your chest for me just a little bit more. Elongate your sides. Allow yourself to effortlessly rock back. Rock forward and hold. Did you catch yourself? Let's go again. Balance, hold. Great, rock back. Rock forward. Do 2 more. This time, inhale when you go back. Exhale, forward, hold. Last time. Great. Hold it here. Hold, hold, hold. Nice. New challenge coming your way. Can you reach your arms up and back to your legs? Great. Let's do that again. Lift up. Lengthen your waist to the sky and grab your legs. Let's increase the challenge. Arms and legs. Great. Hug in. Feet are off the floor. And again, reach arms up, legs out, pull the belly in and hug. That's it. Reach up and out, back and in. Reach up and out wherever you can manage and hug it in. Let's do 2 more. Up and hug. That's it. Lengthen your body. Long legs, long arms in space. Hug in and hold. Let's roll like a ball. Going back and forward, hold. Rock back and forward. Going to come a bit closer to you. Rock back and forward. 2 more. And let's hang out here. I hope you're still with me. Hands behind your head. Great. I saw a thumbs up. Turn to face me and face away from me. And look back towards me. And opposite side. If it's too tricky to keep your legs floating in space here, please put your feet on the mat. And you can simply turn your upper body just like so. Whatever works for you, please just use that option. Okay, otherwise, we're going to go back. You're going to face me, hold. Now reach your opposite leg out. And now switch to the opposite side, including your leg. And twist and reach. Twist and reach. I'm definitely warming up now. Woo. Twist and reach. And twist. And twist. Let's go for singles. 8, 7. Find your flow. 6, 5, 4. Keep your chest lifted. 3, 2, and 1. Give yourself a hug and let your feet come onto the mat. Excellent work. We are going to face each other now. I'm going to have some more fun. Can you pop your top leg up like this? And just make sure that your feet are touching each other. So one foot is standing, the other foot is lying down just like so. And you're going to just show me your hands. Take your hands to the floor. And now lift your booty up. And bring it back down. Great. Lift and twist. Sit back down. Great work. So if you're not sure what direction, your hands go away from your legs, plant them to the ground, and just zipper up as you lift your booty to the sky. Let's try that a few more times. I just invite you to explore this movement. Allow your body to show you the way. it will always give you a solution. And we are just going to run through iterations to further refine these movements. So 2 more times. Let's twist and lift. Sit back down, take a breather, and one last time. Lift and twist. And center back down. Great. Stay here with me. Let's just close the legs, one over the next. And the arm on the opposite side of your feet is going to go up to the sky. You're going to take a breath into your side ribs and out into your back. As you exhale, you're going to reach in the direction of your feet, but on a beautiful high diagonal, completely emptying your lungs. Inhale, come back up. Wide into your back and sides, and exhale, let's reach over. Reach, reach, and reach. Good, one more time. Inhale is up, and exhale over. Lengthening all the while. Bring your arms to the side for me. As we go to the opposite side, I want you to push that hip down and lengthen in the opposite direction. I hope you feel a very delicious stretch along that top side of the body. Great. Okay, let's just do a transition in space. We're going to kick the legs forward and bring them to the opposite side. Okay, that top leg is going to be positioned up. The bottom leg foot is lying down. Show me your hands one more time. Great, like jazz hands. Yay. Okay, bring your hands away from your feet and just lift your booty up. Voila. So easy, right? Lift, up, and down. Lift up and down. Please feel free to work slower or even faster, whatever tempo works for you. The idea is that you simply give your body opportunities to find itself in new constellations, new forms in space, and enjoy the process of discovery. Everything that your amazing body can do. Let's do 2 more times. Lift and twist. Center back. One last time. Scoot up and sit back down. Okay, just pop your legs together. We're squaring up the shoulders over the hips, reaching up long and tall. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, let's reach over to the side. Nice long elongation. Inhale up. And again, exhale over, reaching away from your sits bones, anchored to the ground. One more time. Inhale up. Exhale over. Take your time. If you need to take another in and exhale here, please go for it. Reach your arms long and wide to the side. Let's do a counter stretch in the opposite direction. Reaching long and away. Beautiful work. We're almost there. I'm going to give you a couple more things. You're going to come onto your knees and your feet and your hands and just lengthen all the way out. Almost like a child pose, similar, but it's an active position because we are going to shoot out into a high plank, just like so. Now, if this is quite challenging for you, please drop your knees to the mat, but keep your head to your knees in one clean line. I'm coming up to this variation, and we are simply going to press the legs together, keep your body nice and tight, and we are going to slowly, slowly lower ourselves as one clean line to the mat. Woo! Did you make it? Let's lengthen the legs. Yes, we made it. Take your hands out a bit wider to the side. Inhale into your back. Exhale, pull the low belly in and just lift your chest. Reach your chest forward. Low belly is active. And then you're going to nod your head lift your spine all the way up and push back. So now we're back into the original position. Again, let's shoot out into that plank position. We're not here for long, so give it all you've got. Squeeze your body as if it was one singular muscle, and slowly resist gravity as you lower yourself down to the mat. Slowing everything down, piece by piece, bit by bit, to the floor. Wow. Then I want you to lift your chest, nod your head, roll your spine to the sky, push the floor away, lift up, 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 and all the way down. One more time. Shoot out your one tight muscle, resisting your descent down to the floor. Resist as long as you can, and arrive. Lift up, drop your head, lift your spine up to the sky, and lower yourself back down. Wonderful work. You're going to come just back to the center. You're on all fours now. And you're going to begin at the base of your spine. You're going to tuck your tail, push your hips forward and under, and gently round your back. Let your head drop here. Your neck is relaxed. And again, begin at the base of your pelvis. Pull your tailbone out. Reverse your curve. Press your hands into the mat, lift the chest and lift the gaze. And again, tuck the tail, round your back as if you were a cat. High curvature, pull your tailbone out, reverse the curve, chest and gaze on the forward. One more time, rounding. This should feel very nice. You're just looking for fluid, continuous movement as you move your spine between these two curves. Great. And just for a little bit more fun, I'm going to ask you to take your knees a little bit further behind you. Bring your hips just a tad forward. Your arms are actively pushing into the floor. You're going to just gently lift your feet. And now bring your feet to the side as if you would look towards them over your shoulder. And now to the opposite side. So you're doing a mini swivel action over your knees. I'm essentially getting you to side bend. So again, movement for your torso, but every movement in Pilates is a whole body movement. I'm sure you probably experienced that in this movement sequence. So it's just like a side to side. 3, 2, 1, and back to the center. Bring your knees one last time directly beneath your hips and just move your low back, that's this area of your spine, up to the sky and then lower it back down. So we're concentrating on that lower region just above your sacrum, mobilizing it one last time. And a very nice thing to add on as a conclusion to our session today is to just let yourself be free with this movement. And many people like to call it the sexy cat. So I want you to just move your spine, move your body now in any which way that you so desire. Maybe you like to imagine yourself spinning a hula hoop around your center, if that's something you did when you were small. Or just simply allow yourself to explore any which way, any which range of movement or motion that your body so desires. Releasing, softening, being free, freestyle movement. Let your body lead you and let it be your guide. And that concludes our little movement sequence. I hope you had some fun. It was my intention that you could explore this short movement sequence. Thank you so much for joining in, and I look forward to seeing you sometime again soon. Bye for now.
That was lovely. I was holding my breath to tell you this because I thought where I am, there's not much of room to practice, but I thank you for your guidance and the permission to do what the body calls for, and the space too. You know, I was in a tight corner and not much of padding, but oh my God, that's what I needed.
I'm so delighted to hear. It's absolutely key to just allow yourself to take that moment, to take that space. And even if you have limited space, just to work with what you have and allow your body to be your guide. And yeah, sure, make a modification if you need to. If you can't fully extend arms or legs, that's fine. Just work with what you have. That's always the way to go.
This practice is about grace. There's something
Yes.
graceful about you and other Pilates instructors that I know, and it is a very gentle, feminine unity with the body. And I just have to tell you that I forgot to mention when I started exercising more on regular basis. This is after I had moved to the US and in my early 20s. I found a Pilates video, and it really, like, whatever small things I learned from it, I feel like it just laid the foundation for more graceful movement. And practicing with you took me back to that. Like,
wow.
I couldn't achieve
How nice.
with other modalities, as a matter of fact.
That's beautiful.
I wish I could gain that in yoga, and I didn't, you know. But here it is, and that's why it's important for the warriors of holistic path, the peaceful warriors, to know there are so many different ways to inner alignment. It doesn't have to be a typical or well-known more labeled spiritual practice. It is really what you make out of it that makes it spiritual as much as physical. And I feel just
yes.
lighter in the mind. So anyhow,
Wonderful.
thank you very, very, very much for sharing your love, your philosophy, and your practice with us. And I would love for everyone to know where to find you. So please share your website and different social media platforms that you use, and just any information you like to give so people can directly reach out to you when need to.
Of course. Thank you, Asal. So the easiest place to find me currently is simply Danielle Moves in one word.com. And as far as the social media platforms go, you can still find me under my Pilates studio name. That's with the @ body_props_Pilates. And that is also connected to Facebook. So you may go via Facebook, but they're both connected. I am also on LinkedIn and Pinterest. But the main platforms currently are Facebook and Instagram, and otherwise the website daniellemoves.com.
And this video is going to be on YouTube, and I believe you may have a small channel. You can share it with anyone if you feel like. Take advantage of this beautiful practice, and it's a kind that you can do on your own, several days back to back, once a week, and every time you hear something differently and you experience something differently, and oh my God, I just feel so open up in the chest. And you know, that's the beauty of Pilates. It's the whole body, but the area that needs to get the opening, I believe.
Yes, Yes, and I do believe that Pilates gives you whatever it is that you need, meaning Pilates can be, at least the way I like to use Pilates is, it can be whatever you need it to be. If you need to open the chest, if you need to elongate the front line of the body, if you need to work the back lines of the body or do more rotational side bending, it can be all of those things and so much more. You just, I guess, need to allow yourself to let it respond to exactly what it is that you need. So I like to say Pilates is whatever you need it to be for your body, because it is so diverse and so comprehensive, and whatever you end up doing, your whole body is involved.
Does it for you. That's how it feels to me. It does it for you. It takes you out of the mind and allows the body to do its magic.
Yes, beautifully said, Asal.
Thank you for this wonderful experience, Danielle.
Thank you.
Thank you for again saying yes. My name is Asal Shokati, asalshokati.com. All this information will be in the video and down below. Please do subscribe to this channel, share this message. You never know who is waiting to hear this message, who's waiting to find Danielle, who's waiting to experience more of what Pilates has to offer and much more. So reach out to me, reach out to Danielle, and let's grow this community together. Thank you again very much, and see you in the next video.
Yeah, thank you, Asal. All the best to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.